What's up guys, my name is Aubrey and welcome to the channel. So if you are somebody who considers yourself to be an independent contractor, if you host on websites like Airbnb or Turo, if you drive for services like Uber or Lyft, if you are a freelancer on websites like Upwork or Fiverr, or any and all of these options as well as many other options that I didn't list, if any of these apply to you, then you will not want to miss this video because I have a way for you to make $10,000 from the government right now. So let's get started. So before I give you all the details on this $10,000 from the government, I would greatly appreciate if you guys could please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button down below. It helps YouTube algorithm, it helps my channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. So once you have done that and you have done me that huge favor, then let's dig into the video. And that is answering the question of how can you, an independent contractor, somebody that hosts on platforms like Airbnb or Turo, somebody that drives for Uber or Lyft, how can you qualify for this $10,000 grant that is being offered in the stimulus package? And let me tell you, it is actually much easier and much more simple than you would probably think. You see, on March 27th, the CARES Act was passed, and it was passed by the House, the Senate, and the President, and it was signed into law on that day. This is a $2 trillion stimulus package that is being released to the American citizens as a way to help combat the economic crisis that is currently going on. Now, there are a lot of programs within this bill that are going to not only regular everyday Americans like you and I, but also going to businesses and entrepreneurs and independent contractors as well. But whenever this bill was first passed, I actually did not think that independent contractors qualified for a lot of these programs that were being laid out in this bill. My understanding at the time was that the only thing that people like myself or like most of the people watching this channel would qualify for is the $1,200 stimulus check that is getting sent out to the majority of Americans. And there are some kind of guidelines within that $1,200 stimulus check that can decide whether or not you're eligible. I believe, for instance, if you never filed your taxes or if you are somebody who's behind on child support payments, that can affect your eligibility of the stimulus check. But with that being said, the majority of the United States population is going to qualify for that $1,200 stimulus check. And you don't have to do anything to get it. It is simply just going to be mailed out to all of us at some point in the next probably 2 to 3 months. But what I didn't know is that independent contractors and kind of side hustle entrepreneurs like myself also qualify for different portions of this bill as well. The first one is the PPP, and the PPP stands for Paycheck Protection Plan. And this is a $349 billion plan that is to help business owners pay their staff and continue paying payroll. Businesses that are paying their employees during the COVID-19 crisis are eligible for this plan, and as long as they continue to pay their employees throughout this entire crisis, then most of this plan will end up being presented to these employers and to these companies through forgivable loans, meaning that they won't have to pay it back. Now, you are only eligible for the PPP if you have employees that you are currently paying. So for somebody like myself, I do not qualify because I am kind of a one-man show. I don't pay any employees, I don't have any staff, it is just me. But the PPP is not why I brought you all here today. The reason why I brought you here today and the reason why this video is so valuable to anybody that works for themselves or owns a company or has a side hustle is because of the EIDL. You see, in the CARES Act, there's a section of the bill called the EIDL, which stands for Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And this is a program introduced by the government to help businesses stay afloat during this hard economic time. So how this EIDL program works is that it is a disaster loan program implemented in the CARES Act to help businesses fight this economic hardship that we're currently going through. And businesses can apply online and they can qualify for a loan anywhere from $25,000 to $2 million. And in most instances, you can get a loan up to $200,000 without the need to secure it with any sort of collateral. So this means that the government is offering business owners and entrepreneurs and sole proprietors and independent contractors a way to access a lot of money rather quickly in order to keep their businesses afloat. But the best part about this loan, and the thing that affects people like you and I the most, is that in this loan program, you have the option to request a $10,000 cash advance in the form of a grant. So how this works and to figure out if you are eligible for this program is you need to first go on the EIDL loan application website. You can find that here. Make sure that when you're on this website that it looks like this, because I have heard stories of users who go in, fill out the application, and then find out after the fact that it was the wrong application. Then you're going to be prompted to answer a couple of questions. These questions will just verify whether or not you are eligible for this program. And in my case, I am an applicant who's an individual who operates under a sole proprietorship with or without employees or as an independent contractor. So that is the one that I qualify for. Next, you need to answer a few other questions, things like applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity, there is no principal of the applicant with a 50% or greater ownership interest in more than 60 days delinquent on child support. See, the other thing about child support, like I mentioned earlier, if you're behind on child support, you're not going to qualify for a lot of these programs. Applicant is not an agricultural enterprise. Applicant does not present live performances. Applicant does not derive more than 1/3 of gross annual revenue from legal gambling. Applicant does not do business and lobbying. Applicant cannot be state, local, or municipal government entity. So once you click all of those, you'll be able to click continue and move forward. Then from there, you just do your business legal name, trade name, EIN or social security number. So you can use your business name if you have one. If you don't, you can just use your own name. Same goes for trade name. And then your EIN or social security number. So if you have an EIN, you can use your EIN. If not, you can just use your social security number. Then you're going to do, is your applicant a nonprofit? Is it a franchise? And then this is where kind of the numbers come into play. So gross revenue for the last 12 months prior to the date of the disaster, and then cost of goods sold for 12 months prior to the date of the disaster. So those are really the only two numbers that you need to provide. And so even if you don't have a super detailed P&L, if you know how much you made in the 12 months prior to the disaster, and if you know how much your cost of goods were in the 12 months prior to the disaster, that's all you have to know. And it's super easy. And as you go through this application, you'll be prompted for more questions, things like your date of birth, your personal information, company information if you have it, and then you'll also be prompted to opt into the $10,000 cash advance. And make sure to opt into that because that's how you get your $10,000 grant. Once you go through these prompts, it will take you through the entire process of applying for the loan. Like I said earlier, it is super easy, it's really straightforward, and it should only take about 15 to 20 minutes max. So once you finish submitting your application, you will then be given an application number and you will be told that you will be contacted via email if there is any issues. And my understanding is that you should be contacted within about a week to 10 days on the status of your grant and loan application. Keep in mind that there's two portions of this EIDL. There is the grant portion, which is the money that is given to business owners that does not need to be paid back. And then there is the loan portion. This is the portion that is loaned out to you, and you would have to pay this back if you would accept it. But the thing that you need to understand is that the grant is not contingent on the loan, meaning that you can accept this $10,000 grant without accepting the loan. And that is what I plan to do myself, is I plan on accepting this grant but not accepting the loan because I do not want to obligate myself to any sort of SBA loan that I will be required to pay back. But I will accept a grant that is given to me by the government that I will not have to pay back. Now, a couple of final points is that a comment that I've heard with a lot of people I've spoken to in the last week is the comment of, well, I don't know if I really need this $10,000. Like, I don't know how long this lasts. As of now, I'm okay, and I don't want to take advantage of the $10,000 if I don't need it. And my word of advice for anybody who's kind of on the fence on this grant is that I would definitely submit the application ASAP and take advantage of it while you can. Because the fact of the matter is you don't know how long this economic disaster is going to last. And you may not need it right now, but in a month or 90 days you could. And this money is not some limitless resource. It is going to run out. And once this program runs out and once this application window closes, you're out of luck and you can't take advantage of this grant any longer. So take advantage of it while you can. And know that at the end of the day, you're paying for this grant one way or another, through your tax dollars, through your business taxes, through things like that. And so you might as well take advantage of a government resource that is being offered to you while you can. Now, one last point before we end the video is that the rules and regulations and guidelines surrounding these bills that are currently being passed in the government are changing in what seems like an almost daily basis. And so I am trying to give you guys the most up-to-date information that I have, but just because it is up-to-date as I'm recording this does not mean that it might not change in a week or in 2 weeks or even a couple of days. But one YouTuber that has been putting out a lot of information regarding these programs is Meet Kevin, and I'll provide his URL below, but he has a pretty big following in the personal finance and investing niche, and he has been providing a lot of really great videos regarding things like the $1,200 stimulus check as well as this EIDL loan. And so if you are interested in getting really constant update information, I would definitely recommend checking out his video. For me, this is the information that I have. This is the information that I know of regarding this $10,000 grant, and I can talk about it to an extent from experience because of the fact that I have applied for this grant myself. But again, if you're looking for really in-depth, up-to-date information, definitely check out Meet Kevin's videos, and they are really, really valuable if you are wanting to understand these programs in a little bit more depth. So guys, that is the end of this video. I hope that all of you are staying safe, and I hope that you guys are taking advantage of these programs while they're being offered. Remember, you pay for these programs one way or another through your taxes, and just because you don't need the money today does not mean you won't need it in a couple of months. So guys, that is the end of this video. I hope that it gave you a lot of information regarding these government programs that are being offered, and I hope it kind of gave you information on whether or not these are programs that you yourself should take advantage of. Remember that if you qualify for any of these programs where the government is essentially giving out free money, take advantage of it, because these opportunities and these programs will not be offered forever, and it's better to take advantage of it now rather than regret not taking advantage of it and needing it in the future. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.